Hello everybody! In this video, we are gonna see that which of these two integrals is easier to be solved. So let's start with this one. In this integral, the denominator is bothering me, so I wanna get rid of this guy in the denominator. So what I'm going to do is that I broaden top and the denominator by this guy, square root of x plus 1 minus square root of x, and same here, square root of x plus 1 minus square root of x. In this way, we have, that something like this, for example, and like this. If there is plus here and minus here, the first one square and minus second one square, it's like this. See, a plus b parentheses times a minus b. In this situation, we have a square minus b square. X is the same in here. So now here in the denominator we have x plus 1 minus x, yeah, and in the top we have square root of x plus 1 minus square root of x dx. So in the denominator, x minus x cancel each other out and there's only 1 left. So we have to find the integral of this minus this. So I write it like this: integral of a square root of x plus 1 dx minus this minus square root of integral of square root of x dx. So easy. Now here it doesn't need anything, any u substitution or any other way to be solved. It's easy. So we get to these. If I call u as square root of x plus 1 and I differentiate from both sides, du is in the denominator 2 times square root of x plus 1 and dx. So dx is 2 and this guy, which is u, du, yeah. So now we have this guy, 2 and u dx, 2 u du. This 2 is for dx, yeah, 2u d 2u, yeah, sorry, I'm confused, sorry, dx 2u du and square root of x plus 1 u, finished, minus, and you know that if I write it square root of x to the 1/2 power, the integral of this guy plus 1 over the third 3 over 2. So in here we have 2 over 3 x to the 3 over 2, yeah, and this guy. If I put 2 behind the integral and here I have u times u du, so I clean it and u squared, yeah, the integral of u squared du, u cube over 3, so 2 over 3 u cube minus 2 over 3, and I write x to the 3 over 2 power like x times square root of x, and finally plus c. So I must change the u to the x word. So the answer is 2 over 3 x plus 1, which is to the 1/2 power, and times 3 x plus 1 to the 3 over 2 power minus 2 over 3x square root of x plus c. Finish. So it wasn't that much hard, but this one, let's see how can we tackle it. Well, at first I wanna before, let me write it here to use more space here. It was the integral of dx over square root of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1. Yeah? So, first of all, I wanna take the square root of x. Okay? And the usual thing always we do, du equals 1 over 2 square root of x dx. So dx is 2 square root of x du, and that we know u is square root of x dx, 2u du. So what now? And here, if I square to both sides, I get to u square close to x. So I'm gonna replace these guys in here and change it from the x word to the u word. Okay? So now we have 2u du in lieu of dx over, instead of x here, u square root of u square plus 1 plus u and plus 1. I can write it, yeah, like this, because it doesn't make any difference. Okay, so now, like the first question, in here I need to get rid of the denominator or make it much simple. It's so busy, and you know guys, it's bothering me, in fact. So now we just need to multiply the top and down by square root of u square plus 1 minus parentheses u plus 1, and here as the same of this. Okay, now but before continuing, let me bring 2 behind the integral, because I like it like this. Okay, so now if I multiply this guy to this guy, this one square minus this one square. So now the square integral of u well square root of u square plus 1 minus I mean u times minus negative u minus u square minus u and du. But in the denominator, if I square the square root of u square plus 1, u square plus 1 minus, and you know that if I square this guy, I will get to u square plus 2u plus 1, but there is a negative behind it. In this case, I have negative u square negative 1 negative 2u. So they just cancel each other out. U squared minus u squared, 1 minus 1. So in here we just have negative 2u, and there's also a 2 here, and I bring negative 2 here, and it's just negative 1. Clear? So now what I'm gonna do is just to divide these guys, the which are at the top, yeah, by u. So now we have negative integral of square root of u squared plus 1, yeah. Let me write it part by part to integrate them easily, much easier, okay? Minus 1, and u squared divide by u, we get to u, and minus plus plus. I forgot to write the du, plus u du, and u divide by u only 1, but don't forget minus 1 and negative plus the integral of du. These two integrals are really easy to be solved, but this one has a little work to do. You know, we need to use the trick u substitution for this guy. So I'm gonna take u as tangent theta, and differentiate from both sides. Du equals secant squared theta d theta. So in this way, just let me okay, write it here. Minus, but let me don't write it, guys. You know, if I put tangent instead of u, it will be square root of tangent square plus 1, and tangent square plus 1 is equal to secant theta, and the square root of secant theta, square root of secant square theta is secant theta, and instead of du I must write secant square d theta, and we will have secant cube theta d theta. And it needs a little work to do, so I'm gonna use the DI method, which we had it in our previous video. So now I must differentiate from secant, yeah, and integrate from secant square theta. Yeah, you agree? So the integral of secant square theta is tangent theta, and the different derivative of secant theta is secant theta times tangent theta, and don't forget plus minus. And now here, okay, here we have guys, let me tell you something. I will clean the negative, but I remind myself to write it finally after integrating this part. Okay, now we have secant theta tangent theta, and we need to count the integral of this row minus secant theta tangent square theta d theta. But you know that tangent square theta, I can write it like secant square theta minus 1. So here I have secant theta square minus 1 times secant theta d theta. Yeah, so now I have secant theta tangent theta minus secant theta secant cube theta d theta, and plus the integral of secant theta, you know, is natural logarithm of secant theta plus tangent theta. And if I bring it over there, I will have 2 integral of this guy, and I divide everybody by 2, and we get that integral of secant cube theta d theta is secant theta tangent theta plus natural logarithm of secant theta plus tangent theta over 2. And you can memorize it, guys. How, you know, you say that the integral of secant cubed theta d theta equals to its derivative over 2 plus its integration. Sorry. You say that the integral of secant cubed theta d theta equals to the derivative of secant theta, only secant theta, not the secant cubed theta, yeah? The integral of secant theta, which is natural logarithm of secant theta plus tangent theta over 2 plus its derivative, which is secant theta tangent theta over 2. So I clean it here to use my space. Sorry for this, but I know. Okay, and we had negative here. So I understood that this one minus 1/2, yeah, secant theta tangent theta plus natural logarithm of secant theta plus tangent theta. And you know, the integral of u du is u squared over 2 plus this one u, and finally plus c. Now I need to change all of these guys, theta and u, to the x word, which was here. So but before that I need to find these ones, secant theta tangent theta. If I draw the right triangle, it's theta and it's u. This is u, and this is 1, and this is square root of u squared plus 1. Clear? Okay, so, and after that I will change it from u to the x word. Okay, now I have minus 1/2, negative 1/2, no difference. Okay, parentheses secant theta. What is secant theta? You know that cosine theta is 1 over square root of u squared plus 1, and its inverse is secant theta. Okay, so secant theta square root of u squared plus 1 tangent theta, only u, times theta plus natural logarithm of secant theta square root of u squared plus 1 and plus u tangent theta, and plus u squared over 2 plus u plus c. Now what we need to do is just to change it from u word to the x word. Okay, let me write it by blue. Okay, now it's almost done. Negative 1/2 parentheses. Okay, u squared is x, so square root of x plus 1 times, what is u? Square root of x plus natural logarithm of u. Here we have natural logarithm of this one is the same as this, so square root of x plus 1 plus, what is u? U is the square root of x. Okay, and now plus u squared. I write it here, guys. I'm sorry for the lack of space. I will do something for it. Don't worry. Okay, u squared x over 2, and the original u is square root of x, finally plus c. So it is almost, not almost, it's over, guys. I wish that it helps you, and if you liked it, please share it with your friends, teacher, and don't forget to comment. If I had any mistakes, just let me know to not repeat it. And it's done. Have a great time. Goodbye.